Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about a comedy show on BBC Two, and I was actually supposed to make this video last week, but I actually forgot. But this is such an amazing show, and as you can tell by the title, it is Grandma's House. Now, you may have seen a little bit about Grandma's House. I'll be honest with you, there's not as much hype around it as I thought there was going to be when I first saw the trailer thing for it. But it is such a brilliant show. It's starring Simon Amstell. It's his own show. And that is the reason I first watched it. I'll be honest with you, the plot itself probably wouldn't appeal to me if it wasn't for the fact that it was Simon Amstell's show. If you don't know who Simon Amstell is, he's best known for presenting Nevermind the Buzzcocks. And the show is actually co-written with Simon and Dan, now I think it's Dan Swimer. Could be Dan Swimmer, I'm not too sure. But he wrote Buzzcocks as well, or he worked with Buzzcocks. So it's got a very Buzzcocksy feel to it. Hold it down. And basically it's a bit like looking into Simon's life, even though it's clearly scripted. It's basically Simon's looking for a career change, so he wants to try acting, he tries writing and things, and writes a play about an egg and things. And each episode is set in his grandma's house, where you always have his grandma and granddad, then you have his mother Tanya, and then his aunt Liz. And occasionally, well always, but sometimes not until halfway through the episode, you have his cousin Adam, and then his mum's fiance Clive always comes in halfway through as well. So it's kind of a small house, you know, it's all basically set in the living room, some in the dining room, some upstairs, but most of the show is set in the living room of this house. It's a small living room with all these people in it, and you know, they're all very different but very similar personalities. Clive, his mum's fiance, it will take you a while to get used to the names, by the way. Clive very much is a joker. He thinks he's funny. He tries to be funny all the time. He's very much in competition with Simon. He doesn't go out of his way to try and be funnier than Simon, but you can see clearly in his heart that he clearly thinks he is funnier than Simon, which it isn't. But it's funny to watch him trying to be funny, but the things he says isn't funny, if that makes any sense. Tanya is very much your loving mother, wanting the best for Simon, but also nitpicks and moans at the fact that Simon doesn't get on with Clive that well, even though Clive doesn't know Simon doesn't like him. His auntie Liz is very much the black sheep. Tanya moans at Liz all the time about everything, about her clothes, her hair, and it's just so funny. It's a shame for Liz, but it's very, well, it adds for comedy and it is brilliant. His grandparents are lovely. The only way to say it is his grandmother is very much like Tanya. You can see the resemblance between mother-daughter. And his grandfather always goes on about how the fact that he thinks he has cancer. It's not actually been confirmed, I don't think. Or has been, but then he got the all clear, and it's really confusing, but it's not a centre point, and they don't make this big tragedy out of the fact that his grandfather might have cancer, because they don't want to focus on it. It's not the focal point. And that's a really good thing, because it really toned down the humour in the show if they did. But yeah, it's basically just about Simon wanting a career change, and all of his family have an input, and they interact together. And Adam, the cousin, he's like a mini Simon. You can see he wants to be like Simon. He really admires his older cousin, and he wants to grow up to be like his Simon. And there are other characters sort of brought into it at times. For example, the last episode, which was on last Monday, there was another actor brought into it. Simon, I don't know if he had a crush on him or something like that. So that was really nice. It just sort of mixed things up a little bit. In another episode, Simon bought his mother a car and she didn't want it, and then Clive bought a car, and it's just really lovely episodes. The plots themselves of each individual episode are so basic. They're so true to real life as well, the things they discuss. For example, it was Liz's birthday and nobody was paying attention, and you know, that was a shame for Liz, but it happens. So it's just basically a basic family all brought together on a weekend, and the things they get up to. But the thing is, this has Simon Amstel in it, which makes it 10 times better than it would be if it was just a normal family. Like I said, nobody really wants to watch a normal family doing normal things, but when the star of the show is already a comedy genius and really well known, it just sort of makes it that much more watchable and enjoyable. Say it wasn't Simon Amstel, say it was, I don't know, some actor I've not heard of, I probably wouldn't like this. But Simon, as an actor, and as a comedian, it's just absolutely fantastic. You know, he never fails to amuse me. His just sense of humour, the tone of his voice, it's all absolutely amazing, which I think really adds to this show. If it wasn't Simon, it really wouldn't be that good. So I'm sort of mixed on views, because the idea behind the show is maybe a bit too straightforward. But the fact that Simon does sort of make it more enjoyable. From what I can tell, there are 4 episodes. There's been three, I can't count. There's been 3 episodes, and on IMDb and Wikipedia they both say that there's a 4th episode which will air on Monday. I don't know if there's going to be any more than that. I'd like there to be more, because I don't really want it to end at just 4 episodes, because it seemed really short. Each episode is half an hour. But yeah, I hope there's more than 4 episodes. Let me know if you know of anywhere that's saying there's going to be more than 4. I've tried to find out, but I can't. But obviously it'll sort of conclude itself next Monday if it's the final. It has been dropping in ratings. Now the information I'm about to state comes from Wikipedia. Now the first episode got 1.56 million viewers, which is nice. Then the next episode only got 1.11 million, and then that dropped to 1.06 million. So it's dropped by 0.50 million, so that's like 500,000 in the 3-week gap. So I'm sort of worried, is the next one going to go below a million? I don't really, it wouldn't be good for the show if it had under 1 million viewers next Monday, because, well, it just wouldn't look good at all, even though I think I'm trying to think of what's on at the same time in terms of competition. I know there's nothing else good on at the same time, because there's nothing else I'd want to watch. I suppose that is probably how I first watched it. There was nothing on, and I thought, Simon Amstel, I'll give it a go. And then I really did like it. So it just goes to show that give something the chance and you will like it. Don't put it down. And it is just absolutely lovely. So do try it. It will be on BBC iPlayer. I'm not sure if all of the episodes will be, but because it's part of a small series, I imagine, like they do with Doctor Who and things, that the full series will be on there. Fingers crossed. I think there might be clips on YouTube as well. But it is just lovely. Like I said, the cast is fantastic. Simon Amstel is the main attraction in it, of course he is. And the other actress, well, the other person who stood out for me is Rebecca Front, who plays Tanya. And I recognised her, but I didn't recognise her at first. Like, I knew I'd seen her from somewhere. And she's actually been in the Catherine Tate show. Now, I'm going to have to go and hunt out my DVDs again and watch that episodes, because I really want to see it and see if I can spot her. But it is just a lovely cast. Adam especially. I didn't take down the name of the actor who plays Adam, but I mean, he's not on IMDb or Wikipedia or anything, so I don't think he's been in anything else before. But he's a fantastic actor as well. He's lovely. But it's just definitely worth a watch. Like I said, don't knock it until you've tried it, because I didn't really think, I wasn't planning on watching it until I realised there was nothing else on at that time. I think it's 9 o'clock on a Monday, because it's on just after Dragon's Den. And it's just go and watch it. No, that means it must be on 10 o'clock on a Monday. 10 to half 10. Yeah, ignore what I just said about it. Is on after Dragon's Den, that's all you need to know. Watch Dragon's Den and then watch this. And because if you don't watch Dragon's Den, I recommend you definitely do, because it's amazing. But yeah, feel free to leave comments and things and let me know your thoughts. If you're not a fan of Simon Amstel, well, I suppose if you were to hate him, which I don't know why anybody would hate him, but say you did hate Simon Amstel, you're not going to like this. But if you don't know who he is, if you're impartial, if you don't really have an opinion on him, give it a go anyway, because you might like it. But if you're a fan of Simon Amstel, well, if you're a fan, I'd be surprised if you haven't seen this yet. But if you are a fan and you haven't seen it, go and watch it now before you do anything else. Put everything else aside and go and watch it, because you will love it. Like I said, I hope there's more than 4 episodes, but if not, it might end there, which I hope it doesn't. Hopefully it'll be released on DVD as well. That's something I'd like. But just feel free to leave comments and things, let me know your thoughts. Any requests for more videos, let me know. I think the sort of lineup for my next few videos are, Doctor Who tomorrow, X Factor on Sunday, and then August favourites, because it's coming towards the end of the month. But any other videos, let me know, and I will get into doing them. But until then, I will see you next time. Bye bye.